In our village, nestled among rolling hills and whispered tailies, lived a woman whose name was spoken in hushed, fearful tones. Madame Zamoko. She wasn't just a landlady. She was a storm. A tempest of tyranny that swept through the lives of her tenants, leaving behind a trail of misery and despair. That every storm eventually passes. And this is the story of how one gentle breeze of a woman named Amara finally brought the calm. Madame Zamoko inherited her properties from her late husband, Chief Okori. Chief Okori. Now there was a man whose memory was a warm embrace. He was the kind of landlord who saw his tenants not as sources of income, but as an extended family. I remember a time, years ago, when the rains were particularly harsh. The roof of Mama Chidi's little room began to leak, right over her children's sleeping mat. She was already 2 months behind on rent, her husband having lost his job at the quarry. Terrified, she went to Chief Okori, expecting eviction. Instead, he met her with a kind smile. He didn't just listen. He walked with her to the room, saw the dripping water himself, and patted her shoulder reassuringly. The very next day, he wasn't just there with 2 workmen. He was on the ladder himself, handing up tools, making sure the job was done right. He told Mama Chidi not to worry about the rent until her husband was back on his feet. That was Chief Okori, a pillar of the community, a man whose heart was as vast as the land he owned. But when he passed, a shadow fell over his legacy. Madame Zamoko, his widow, took the reins, and where her husband had planted seeds of kindness, she sowed thorns of cruelty. Her heart seemed to be made of stone, polished by greed. She saw tenants as pests, their struggles as an annoyance, their pleas for mercy as a weakness to be exploited. She would show up unannounced, her voice a sharp crack in the morning calm, demanding rent even a day before it was due. A broken pipe? That's your problem, she'd sneer. A sick child? Pay your rent or find somewhere else to be sick. Her favorite pastime was public humiliation, standing in the middle of the compound and shouting the names of those who owed her, their shame her personal entertainment. One by one, families packed their meager belongings, escaping her reign of terror, their spirits broken. The once lively compound became a place of transit, a temporary hell for those with no other options. Then, one sunny afternoon, Amara arrived. She was a young widow, her face gentle but her eyes holding a quiet, unbreakable strength forged by loss. She needed a place to stay with her young son, Leo, and Madame Zamoko's compound was the only place she could afford. From the moment she moved in, the clash of their natures was palpable. Madame Zamoko watched her with predatory eyes, waiting for a single misstep. Amara was different from the other tenants. She paid her rent on time, her small tailoring business slowly but steadily picking up. She kept her space impeccably clean and greeted Madame Zamoko with a respectful good morning, a greeting that was always met with a grunt or a suspicious glare. The other tenants warned Amara. "Be careful," they'd whisper. "She has no heart." Amara would simply smile and say, "Kindness costs nothing." The first test came 3 months in. A sudden illness left Amara bedridden for 2 weeks, unable to work. The rent day came and went. Just as the old tenants predicted, Madame Zamoko descended like a hawk. She hammered on Amara's door, her voice echoing through the compound. "Amara, open this door. Do you think this is a charity home?" Slowly, Amara opened the door, her face pale. "Good morning, madam," she said softly. "I've been unwell. Please, just give me 1 more week. I will pay you everything." "Unwell?" "Everyone is unwell when it's time to pay rent." Madame Zamoko screeched, pointing a finger in her face. 1 week? If I don't see my money in 1 week, I will throw your things into the street myself, sick or not." She stormed off, leaving a stunned silence in her wake. But Amara didn't despair. The moment she had a sliver of strength, She was back at her sewing machine, her fingers flying, her determination burning brighter than her fever. Exactly 1 week later, she knocked on Madame Zamoko's door and presented the full rent, plus a small, beautifully sewn handkerchief as a gift. "For you, madam," she said. "Thank you for your patience." Madame Zamoko snatched the money and the handkerchief, utterly baffled. She had expected begging, tears, excuses. She had not expected dignity and gratitude. For the first time, a crack appeared in her armor of cruelty. She was confused. This pattern continued. Madame Zamoko would invent new rules to frustrate Amara. She forbade her from using the common water tap after 6 p.m. Amara simply woke up earlier to fetch her water. She complained about the noise from Amara's sewing machine. Amara offered to soundproof her room at her own expense. She accused little Leo of trampling her flowers. Amara bought her a new set of flower pots and helped Leo plant them for her. Each act of malice was met with an unexpected act of grace. Amara never argued, never raised her voice. She simply absorbed the cruelty and returned it with patient, unwavering kindness. It was like watching water wear down a stone. The other tenants, inspired by her resilience, began to change too. They started greeting Madame Zamoko, helping each other out, and refusing to be intimidated by her tantrums. The compound, once a place of fear, slowly began to feel like a community again, united by their quiet defiance and admiration for Amara. Madame Zamoko grew more and more frustrated. Amara's goodness was a mirror reflecting her own ugliness, and she couldn't stand it. Her cruelty escalated, becoming more desperate, more erratic. She began neglecting the property entirely, hoping the deteriorating conditions would drive everyone away. The roof started leaking in multiple places, the plumbing failed, and the walls grew damp with mold. This was her fatal miscalculation. One evening, during a heavy downpour, a large section of the main building's balcony, weakened by years of neglect, collapsed. It fell with a deafening crash, right in front of Madame Zamoko's own doorway. She was trapped. Dust and debris filled the air, and a heavy beam had blocked her exit. She screamed, but not in anger this time. It was a raw, primal scream of pure terror. The tenants rushed out. For a moment they just stared. Here was their tormentor, trapped and helpless. A lesser group might have savored the moment, seeing it as divine justice. But then, Amara's voice cut through the chaos. "We have to help her." Without a second thought, she ran towards the rubble, calling for others to follow. Moved by her courage, the other tenants joined in. Working together, they heaved and pulled at the debris, their shared purpose overriding years of resentment. It was Amara who finally cleared the last beam from the doorway. She reached her hand out to the terrified, dust-covered woman cowering inside. Madame Zamoko looked at Amara's outstretched hand, then at the faces of all the tenants she had tormented, now gathered to save her. In that moment, something inside her shattered. It wasn't the balcony. It was the fortress of pride and cruelty she had built around her heart for years. She took Amara's hand and allowed herself to be pulled out. Sobbing, she collapsed to the ground, not from injury, but from the overwhelming weight of her own shame and the unbelievable kindness she had just been shown. The incident was a turning point. The building was declared unsafe, and the tenants had to move. But this time, they left not with their heads down, but with a sense of victory. They had faced the storm and had not been broken. As for Madame Zamoko, she lost everything. The cost of repairs was astronomical, and with no rental income, she had to sell the land her husband had so lovingly managed for a fraction of its worth. The last time anyone saw her, she was a stooped figure, her fiery arrogance replaced by a quiet, haunted emptiness. She had spent years trying to break others, only to end up breaking herself. Amara and the other tenants found new homes. their bond as a community forged in the fires of adversity. Her story became a quiet legend in the village, a powerful reminder that while cruelty can build an empire of fear, it is an empire built on sand. True strength, the kind that endures, is found not in a raised voice or a clenched fist, but in a steady heart and a hand offered in kindness, even to those who may not deserve it. Amara's story shows us that patience and kindness are true strengths. Who in your life has shown you unexpected kindness? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories. Stay kind, and we'll see you in the next video.